Meditation on 32nd Sunday in Ordinary Time, late Sunday. On November 6, 2022. Keep hope and become a simple tool for a beautiful world. When walking on a calm beach where the twilight sunset is colored, there are times when the sound of the waves repeatedly coming and going without a big shake brings peace. That wave has always been like that since time immemorial, and it will always hit the sandy beach or rocky side like that. Even if the waves that rise up against the mighty winds don't cut them off, how beautiful are the scenery of the coastline that the small waves crashing every day have created over the years. Just like that, I wonder if the shades of the landscapes of this world will be refined through those who silently build their own daily lives. If I had to pick a place that I personally really like, I would definitely recommend a traditional market. Maybe it's because the lively scenery of the traditional market that I used to look around while holding my mother's hand as a child still forms a part of my warm feeling. The lively and affectionate images of people busily coming and going in front and back of small shops or stores, and the informal stories they uttered, felt like a simple protest thrown into a harsh world, perhaps for their children or loved ones. So, with such a strong will, they light the dawn of the market and live every moment with sincerity. The heavy emotion and sobriety that life itself gives is revealed as if it was nothing special, so it must make my heart flutter even more. When I was there, the crossbar that had locked my heart was released, and I felt even more full when I was just eating in a corner of a small restaurant. And when I left the market by collecting the inexpensive ones in a few bags, the warmth in my heart spread like the color of a mural painted in pastel tones. The landscape of the world, created by people who pride themselves on being smart, or who want to stand out over others with power and strength, is like a bare face in the cold winter. On the other hand, the warmth created and delivered by small people is an experience like the warmth of spring that cuts through the gaps in the cold energy of late autumn. In other words, I don't know if a big change in the world will come through those who leave such a big mark, but what the world searches for and misses is the one person who warms us up here, whose life can be said to be light. Who can say that the philosophy that any person has learned through his or her life and conveyed through his life itself is superficial? How can we carelessly evaluate and measure the weight of the cross of life that each person carries? That one person, we ourselves are like Simon the Cyrenian who carried the cross of the Lord in our place, and we are those who share the cross of the Lord. Although it may seem that each of us bears our own life in different ways depending on our vocation, the weight of the cross before God is as precious as the value of love. It was from heaven that I received these. For the sake of his laws, I disdain them. From him I hope to receive them again. The reason why the 7 brothers were proud, even in the face of the power that threatened them with death and tried to imprison them, was because they believed and professed the Lord with a deep faith they learned from their mother and kept hope in the living God without pain. What kind of life someone has pursued is revealed at the end of the final life. rather than in a comfortable daily life. Because the rest moment makes people see the truth without any lie being tolerated. And the value of this truth is independent of social criteria, including the status of the person who reveals it. In the face of the God who created us, no one can help but be equal. May the Lord direct your hearts to the love of God and to the endurance of Christ. We are all called and should be to be holy. Even though our life's journey begins in this world against our will, and its end is also up to the Lord, it is up to us how we live the life between birth and the end. In other words, how much we have to depend on God, but the how is a part that needs to be filled with our choices and answers. Therefore, there is no difference in the weight or meaning that a clergyman or a lay person bears in the lifelong journey of carrying the cross. The cross carried by those consecrated to God, the church, and the sheep by fulfilling their duties also ends for a holy and blessed life toward God. From the moment when different people meet and form a family, the purpose of the cross is also the same for the lay people who have to sacrifice each other and share their lack and suffering. Every person's life must be purified and polished with perseverance in each place and shine like a jewel. So, when all of our lives are woven with warp and wrapped to embroider the face of the Lord, we should share the joy of shining so brightly that no fabric maker can make it. He is not God of the dead, but of the living, for to him all are alive. Therefore, I hope that every moment of today will be a life that will shine with sincere tears and love. I want you to remember that the Lord is not far away, but in the present of life that we shape and draw with our hearts and gestures. Because the Lord is the one who breathes in us who live right here. There are lyrics like this in the hymn, I want, hope, and pray. I can't rely on my strength while I am living in this world. Pray and do not lose heart, for the Lord is your true hope. God's dream becomes my vision. The character of Jesus becomes my personality. I want, hope, and pray that the power of the Holy Spirit will be my strength. I hope that the simple moments of life given to me now become the gospel that testifies to the living Lord. I hope to live a life in which God's dream becomes my vision, the character of Jesus becomes my personality, and the power of the Holy Spirit becomes my strength. Although our individual lives may not be as big as the gestures of a giant, I hope that it will become a tool to convey the beauty of God to the world as a gift of comfort, just like the gentle waves sculpting sand and rocks. Today, a daily life that is not so different from yesterday may unfold. However, we are given the opportunity of grace to fill that time and space with added value and meaning.